All right, so welcome everybody. Erica, so good to see you. You made it to the live call. Sorry everyone for the confusion yesterday about office hours. If you missed it, I sent an accidental email at 3 and that's not true. So office hours, just so everybody knows, is every Tuesday. And I'm just rotating times because we had some people reach out in Europe and in like Asian Pacific time zones. They wanted some live sessions for them too. So I'm playing around with different time zones. So every other week we'll be switching between 9 a.m. Pacific and 3 p.m. Pacific. And if those times still don't work for you, hit reply, find me in the Quiz Collective and tell me when would work, and I will do my best to accommodate. All right, so I hit record. Perfect. Let me share my screen and we will get started. So today we're going to go through week 2, your topic, your title, and your results. Very exciting. All right, so nope, that's not what I wanted to show you. I wanted to ask you all, how is everybody doing today? So I wanted to check in for anybody who wasn't on the live call last week. If you want to introduce yourself, feel free to do that. And also, if you had any questions from doing your homework, where you're at in your quiz, let us know. Keep us updated. Anybody got anything before we dive in?
Well, hi, I just wanted to introduce myself.
Hi,
I'm Ellen. Hi, Jackie. Hi, everyone. I am. I missed the last session,
Okay.
so it's on video.
It is. You should have gotten a replay email. Did you not?
Honestly, I'm behind, so I
Okay.
don't know, but I'll take a look. I'll take a look. If not, I'll reach out to you.
Yeah, perfect. You should have got an email from me last week with replay number 1. So that's where we talk about your big quiz idea. The homework, I'll just share this slide here, was to do a little customer avatar research. You can do that a lot of different ways. Some people might have already have market research done already, but we really like to use that to put into your quiz so that you're making a quiz that's really valuable to your people, the people that you want to attract. So you should have gotten the email from me. And if you didn't, Ellen, just let me know and I'll resend it to you so you can watch that. Are you, Ellen, tell us, where are you at? Have you even started a quiz? Do you have anything live?
Yes, I finished a quiz, say in late November, early December. It was live. It was sending people to a webinar, which I did. I did not get a lot of traction from it. So I'm actually having a call with a VA to help me with it today because my video wasn't working properly. I noticed that the quiz, people weren't going all the way through. I don't know if you talked about those who to store. I don't know the exact terminology of the funnel, but those who take it and those that start it and those that actually finish it was low. I think it was like 50 something or 50 something percent.
Yeah. Okay.
And I have to it's not, I don't think I'm promoting it well. My quiz is about, do you know how to negotiate for yourself? But I'm going to make it more about, are you getting what you're worth? Because I think it's a little more customer friendly.
Yeah, so actually you're in the perfect spot because you're actually a little ahead because a lot of people here might not have a quiz created yet, although I know some of you do. But that's perfect because today we're going to talk about your topic, your title, and your results. So you might learn some things today that you could incorporate into your existing quiz or anyone else who already has quiz into your existing quizzes so that you can like fine tune to see how that might change the analytics up. So what you're talking about on the funnel is we start with views. So how many people viewed the quiz and then clicked in to actually start it. And then there's starts to completions. So as they're answering your questions, did they drop out at a certain point or did they get to the end so that you can collect their email? And then there's completions to leads. So if the person completed the quiz, they got all the way through, did they actually leave their email and subscribe? So we can absolutely, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, is there a magic number that you want them to complete? What's the benchmark?
Yeah, it's a great question. We get asked that all the time, and it really depends on your goals, on your business, what you're looking to do. So I would, like, when you started your quiz, or what was the reason that you created a quiz? Were you trying to grow your email list? Was it for more new webinar signups? What's your goal?
It's primarily lead magnet right now. That's what it is.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So then I would look at where your list started before the quiz and where it's at now, and then where you want it to go. I guess I will say, because I want to answer your question, the average across industries is from starts to completions, 30 to 40% is average from the
Oh,
quiz.
okay.
So a lot of times we see people will share their results in their analytics in the quiz collective, which you can absolutely do. That's what I was going to say, Ellen. So we can get like more specific as to like the actual numbers. But a lot of people are usually higher than 30 to 40%. And if you're lower, that's okay too. That number is across all industries. So something that we Interact are working on is to not create, but find the data specific to your industries, because that conversion rate really might change based on what it is that you do. Just as an example, somebody who works in like the mental health space, they might see a 20% conversion rate, but that's a really great number. Somebody in the entertainment space might see like a 90% conversion rate, just because their offerings or their business, what it is that they do, has a bigger reach. More people, it affects more people are interested in that. So it really depends on your business, on your offering and your goal. But if you drop your quiz analytics into the quiz collective, we can look at that more specifically, just based on what you're trying to do, grow your leads, and see what updates we can make on the quiz. But if you're trying to get more people into it, like from increased views to starts, people clicking in to start the quiz, this is a perfect session for you, because you really want to make sure the topic resonates with the people that you want to take the quiz. And that goes into the title too. Are you saying the right things? Are you using their voice? Are you calling out the specific things that your audience is looking for, so that they actually do take the quiz?
One quick question. I don't want to take up all the time. Can you see does the analytics show you what question people drop out at, or no?
If you are on the growth plan, so if you're on the growth plan or higher, there are question and answer analytics, and that will let you see specifically the drop off for each question. Yes.
Okay, got it. Thanks, Jackie.
Yeah, you're welcome. And anybody, if you have any questions, I do see in the chat, I'm going to open that. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat, stop me at any time. I love to have a conversation rather than just speak the whole time myself.
I have some questions that are actually related to this, but if at any point you feel like, wait, this would be better answered at the end, you can let me know as well. Because I know that one of the things that you had feedback for me about was the name of my quiz. And it being called the Joy Gem Superpower Quiz. And initially I kind of had that feeling about, well, I don't want people to think it's about gems, but like understanding your joy is a gem. So it's almost like a play on words. And I think that by the end, people get it. And I don't know if they really care so much once they have the result, but also considering the bigger picture for like the possibility for where the theme could go. And also considering that I have a podcast, and at the end of each episode, I drop a joy gem. I think that's why I did it. But given your professional expertise, do you think that I should probably still change it? I don't know.
No, I think what might be interesting for you, Erica, is what got me. So the feedback I gave to Erica was, it says, what's your joy gem superpower? And I was expecting my result to be a gem, like an actual physical crystal gem, right? But I think what got me thinking that, Erica, was the picture that you have on the quiz, like entry page, where I clicked in to start the quiz. So it could just be a matter of like leaving the quiz exactly as it is, but just playing around with that photo to see if that sort of changes expectations. But even that said, once I got to the results, I was just like, oh, I thought this would be a gem, but it was still great. Like I loved the results page itself. So maybe even, especially if you're trying to relate this back to the podcast and how you drop joy gems in those, maybe just giving a definition of what a joy gem is on the results page. If people were confused, that would clear it up right there.
Okay, so give a definition. Okay.
And also, because you said that about your podcast, in the section where you offer the different podcasts people can listen to, maybe you even say something there about how you drop joy gems and what that means, because I didn't know that. So that would be kind of cool. And also might make me want to listen to your podcast even more, of like, I want more joy gems.
Ooh, okay. That is actually a really amazing idea. Thank you so much. There's some other things,
Yeah.
but I think I'm gonna let you hop into your stuff and then I'll ask them at the end.
Yeah, okay, cool. Allison, no worries that you're not on camera. Feel free to use the chat. That's for anybody. And Patricia, hello again. I see you say, I just want a perfect quiz for a business coach client. She's excited about trying it. Awesome. Does that mean, Patricia, that you are creating this quiz for them or it's already finished?
No, I'm just starting.
Perfect. Yay. And tell us a little bit more about this client. What's their niche? What are they into? What is the purpose or like the goal of the quiz?
So she is a business coach. So she specializes in sales coaching and training.
Okay.
And so she is like mid-sized businesses. So people that have teams, sales and training, sales teams, so that they need a bit of work on how to close sales and that kind of thing. So, but she also does a little bit of leadership. So I looked at the what is your style of leadership, and I read her out the questions, and I think we can really do a lot of good stuff with it, and that makes my life a lot easier just because I'm terrified of doing a quiz. And so I'll do her as a guinea pig, and then I'll do my own. So I'm excited. I think it'll be really good.
Awesome. So when you say you found this quiz, that's the template. That's a template from the builder.
Yeah.
That's a great place to start. Perfect.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Then thank you so much. It was, yeah, it makes it, it takes out a lot of the fear and the stress, which is amazing.
Yeah, and I'll say too, a template is definitely, I think, the easiest way to just get started, especially for those of you who don't have a quiz yet, or you're toying between different ideas. So we really say, we talked about this last week, have a done is better than perfect mindset. We say get your quiz 70% of the way there and hit publish, because you might be surprised in what you find out from your audience, or if you really like wait to get it out there and really make it perfect, it might not be what your people need, right? And then you've spent all of this time creating this beautiful thing that isn't what your people want. And so you have to go back and try again. So just using a template as it is to test out, obviously it's totally okay to play around with templates, meaning like make it fit your brand, your style, your voice, change up questions, take things out, add things in, do whatever it is that you like to it, but just get it out there because it's really going to teach you more about your audience, how they're using the quiz. And then you'll understand like where Ellen's at right now, you have some analytics to make the right decisions of like the right changes, I guess, so that you can get more people into the quiz, more people to complete the quiz, whatever it is that your goal is. So love that you're using a template. Keep us posted on how it goes. And I think I agree for anybody who's just getting started, absolutely check out the templates if you haven't already, because there might be something in there that's totally ready to go for you. Cool. All right. Any other questions about the homework that you did last week, the customer research, or anything else before we get started? Like I said, anybody want to introduce themselves if you didn't do that last time, or if you're catching the replay, be sure to say hello in the Quiz Collective so we know who you are, what industry you're in. I just did a coaching call with our week 1 folks earlier, and I just want to remind you all, it's really great to introduce yourself, to tell us what it is that you do, because you'll likely find other people in the community that are in a similar industry as you, or might even be your ideal clients. And so getting feedback from them is really important, but it's really good. It's really good feedback because it's specific to what your customers, right? So my feedback is going to be in general, like across industries on quiz strategy, but that might not work for you just based on your goals. So we'll chat through that, of course. But if you have somebody who already understands your customers, then their feedback might be that much better because they know what your people want and what they need. Ellen asked, can you edit the templates? You can use the template exactly like it is, or you can change absolutely everything on it. You can do whatever you would like to those templates. I'll talk about this later because I'm going to walk through a template on the results page today when we talk about results. But there are personas. So we suggest that you add a bio to your results page. And so there's some personas in there, like with people's names, with their photos, with their businesses in the templates. Those are fake personas. They're not real people. So a lot of times people will ask, oh, are they going to get mad if I use their quiz? They're not real. We made them up. And Patricia, I'm also excited about the email sequence. Yes, I'm a copywriter and I'll create email, but I have to have a template is awesome. Yes, I think we talked about this before I hit record. So just anybody catching the replay, I dropped in the chat a link to the copywriting support channel where our expert Dawn shares a oh gosh, I always have so much trouble saying this. It's a post-quiz 3 email sequence that you can send. So when someone finishes the quiz, you can use those to send them emails right away, or at least just to get started as you launch the quiz. All right, let's get to it. Yes, was someone going to say something? I heard something.
I just realized that I hadn't introduced myself when I started talking.
Yeah, tell us, Erica.
Okay, sorry. So hello, everyone. My name is Erica Lasan, and I'm a joy strategist as well as a creative consultant. And the name of my business is Journey to Purpose, JOYRNEY. And what I do is I help women and entrepreneurs who are overwhelmed, overworked, and over it really prioritize themselves and get organized and a bunch of other things. But essentially the idea is to help them find more joy, purpose, and healing and what's next. And that really begins with first rediscovering, reconnecting, and recommitting to your purpose and identity and joy. So I created a quiz back in December, like right before Christmas, and it has been absolutely awesome in getting more people to not only register for my newsletter, but also getting clarity in what they are coming to me for, because there are many things that are done within this journey process. And then it blows my mind how effective this has been in the fun of having people do this work, but also is for me as the person providing the service, knowing where to start in serving them. So this has just been really, really amazing. And I love this group. So thank you.
Yeah. And if anybody wants to check out Erica's quiz, it is in the Quiz Collective. So I want to talk about the next expert session we have next week. But if you look above where that pink bar is, quiz feedback, that's where you'll find Erica's quiz. And if anybody already has a quiz that you have ready or that you want feedback on, even if it's not totally perfect, even if it's not like totally ready yet, you can drop it in here and we can give you feedback along the way. So to kind of also clear up the confusion from yesterday about office hours, this channel below that's highlighted, expert sessions and events. If you click on that, you'll see, I should have took a different screenshot, but you'll see a list of all the upcoming events that we have in your local time zone. So that should help clear up some confusion. And also you can RSVP to specific events, office hours, expert sessions. We have a member hosted session on podcasts tomorrow led by Tiffany. So you can RSVP to those and add them to your calendar. All of that will always be stored right here, expert sessions and events. And I'm doing my best to kind of plan out as far in advance as we can so that you have more notice about these sessions that are upcoming. One more thing on events, if you would like to present to the group on a member hosted session, or if you would like to see a specific expert come in and talk about a different topic, let us know what that is, because I'm all about getting that set up for you. I want to schedule the events that are going to be most impactful for you. So tell me what they are if we're not scheduling them for you yet. All right, so the screenshot that I have here is for next week, Thursday, the 20th, and this will be at noon Pacific time. We have Hannah coming in to talk about market research. And the reason I wanted to call this out is because the homework last week was to do some customer avatar research, do a little market research on your people. So at this session, Hannah is going to talk about the importance of customer research, which we also did last week, but also how to do this customer research, the basics of it, common research mistakes that you can avoid, and how to use what you learn to make smarter decisions within your business. So if you're interested in going to that, it's in the expert sessions and events space. And then right over here, this arrow will say RSVP. If you haven't signed up for the event yet, all you do is click that and you'll get a pop-up to add it to your calendar. And you can see right here, the Zoom link is in there. So if you're about to jump on a session or whatnot, you can always come back here and just click the Zoom link. All right. And then just another reminder in the Quiz Collective, if you haven't introduced yourself, you can do that right here and say hello. And then last week we talked about your big quiz idea. So if you have questions about the homework, about where you're at, about deciding what you're going to use the quiz for, or the different options, if you want feedback on kind of just what you're thinking, drop anything like that right into here, your big quiz idea, and I can help support. I also, in all of the channels, if we have resources, I like to pin them over here to the side. So you'll see as we go through coaching, all of the resources will be pinned within the Quiz Collective channels over here. All right, any questions about the Quiz Collective or the community group before we dive into this? All good. Okay, and I will also say, if you have a question and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know where to put this, drop the question anywhere. I have the ability to move it to a different section if needed. So drop the question anywhere, tag me, we can always get it to the right place. But please don't not ask your question if you just don't know where to put it. Leave it anywhere, we'll find it. All right, and then I just want to say, no matter where you are in the quiz creation process, no matter how far you got with the homework last week, let's just take a moment to celebrate the fact that you are doing it, you are here, you're putting in the work to create something that's really going to bring lasting value to your brand and to your business. And I want to reiterate, we talked about this last week, that this is an iterative process. So your quiz, just like your business, is going to evolve over time. You don't have to get the quiz perfect right away. It's really, I think, super important to just get your quiz out there, see how your audience reacts, and then make changes from there. So like I said earlier, get it 70% of the way there, hit publish, let's start sharing it, and then use the analytics to make the right changes based on what you're learning about your people. And then come back to the Quiz Collective, let us know what that looks like, because we can all help each other make the best quizzes for our businesses. Okay, all that. Let's get on to topics, titles, and results. So there's lots of different ways you can, or topics rather, that you could make your quiz about. And your quiz topic is really the big idea behind your quiz, and the title should relate to that so that people know what it is they're getting it once they click in, or when as they're deciding if they want to take your quiz. So our CEO, Josh, has seen some really amazing quiz results when people just answer the main question that everyone's already asking them. So this quiz type works really well when you embed it on your website, because if people are searching for something and they have this like dire question, right? And they find your page and it's a quiz with that same question that if they take the quiz, they get a personalized answer to, you're really building your authority, you're creating value for them before they've even given you their email address. So you're really establishing a connection with them. So anyone who has, think about your audience and think about, is there a question that someone is always asking you? And maybe that could be your quiz topic. Just an example of that, we worked with Henry's House of Coffee. I mean, they created their own quiz, but we did a podcast episode with them. Henry's House of Coffee, they created a quiz, which type of coffee should you buy? And so this is a brick and mortar store in Seattle, but they ship their coffee out. And so they wanted to create this quiz to have the same personal, the same, I guess, connection that you would have when you go into the coffee shop physically. You might talk to the barista, they'll ask you questions, ask, what you like about coffee or maybe what you don't. So they use those same questions, the same conversation that you would ask when you walked into the quiz, so that they could speak to anybody over the internet. So they put that Need Help Picking Coffee right here on their website, and then you just click Get Matched and it takes you right into the quiz. Further down their website, they have sort of the different products that they sell, and if they have a thing, can't decide, click here. Again, click here, it takes them into the quiz so that they can start answering questions and get a specific product recommended to them. So this is what their quiz looks like. So Henry's a second generation coffee roaster, and he's here to help you find the perfect coffee. So again, you can see them, you can see the store, you get a little bit about their story. It's really establishing a connection with them before you're even getting their email. So this quiz for Henry's House of Coffee brought in a ton more newsletter conversions. And they noticed their customers were sticking around for a lot longer in the sales funnel, because they really liked the product that they first bought, or they really liked the experience online of taking this quiz and getting recommended to different things. And so they want to come back for more. They want to try something else. And I have the link here. I'll also share this in the replay email that I sent out. The first Interact podcast that we did is about this quiz and Henry's story. So you can check that out if you are interested or need a little inspiration. I'll share, the link is here, but I'll also share it in the replay email. And also I will share the slide deck as well. So don't feel like you have to write everything down from these slides. You can, absolutely, but you'll get the deck, a copy of the deck as well. Does anybody want to chat through, is anybody thinking of using this quiz topic idea, or does anybody want to chat through what this might look like for you in your business? All right, and anybody watching the replay, like I said, you can find us in the Quiz Collective, or if you maybe are thinking about this later and something comes up or you want to talk through it, share in the Quiz Collective and we can answer questions, share feedback, give feedback, all of that. All right, so another topic that you could make your quiz on, or like use for your quiz, is one that future paces the transformation that you offer your clients and your customers. So future pace just means that you're getting them to imagine what their life will feel like after they work with you. Erica was saying she works with women who are just over it. What does it look like when you're not over it, when you're joyful? Like what does that life look like? What do they, can they see, can you paint the picture so they can see themselves in that state? Because very likely if they can see themselves there, they will want to work with you so that you take them there. And this is really where some of that research homework comes in. And you now know, because you want to know what the transformation, like what the ideal state or transformative state they want to be in is, so that you're speaking to the right thing. But this is what Shanti Zach, she's the team that makes our templates. This is what she calls a caterpillar quiz. And so the idea is that you're catching the lead where they are right now. They're wanting more. They're like a hungry little caterpillar. And then you paint this picture of the transformation they're going to achieve through your offerings or through working with you, so that they can become like this beautiful butterfly. An example of that would be, where are you on your, so this is a template from the builder, where are you on your clean eating journey? So you can see that the transformation here is somebody from they're going from a clean food newbie into a guru on their nutritional journey. All right, and then another idea for a topic would be a clickbaity or BuzzFeedy type quiz. And we're definitely not making BuzzFeed or clickbait quizzes here, because you really want to provide value to your people and learn about your customers. But if something trendy really suits you or suits your brand, then you could definitely use this. I was working with, just as an example, I was working with an author who was writing a book on your offense level. So like how offended you get. So her theory, her business is that we need to monitor how offended we are so that we can have more productive conversations with each other. Think politics, right? So her quiz is called Which Housewife Are You? Which is kind of BuzzFeedy, right? Like from the housewife shows. And your result at the end of the quiz is you're one of these housewives, but in the results page, she goes on to elaborate on what you're doing well, where you can work to improve on tolerating offense, because that really resonates with her audience. All right, so any questions on deciding on your quiz topic before we go on to titles? And I just dropped the screenshot in here so you can see if you're watching the replay, or if something comes up later as you're thinking through this. Topics, titles, and results is the channel you can share on if you have questions or want to chat through what you're thinking for any of those. But anybody here want to talk through your quiz topic, or anyone struggling with it?
I'll
go for it, Ellen.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
go, Patricia.
No, go, Ellen.
I saw Ellen raise her hand. Just unmute yourselves in chat. No need to be cordial here, but you're on mute, Ellen. I can't hear you.
Okay, so my quiz, I wrote a book, and in the quiz is a book. My business is how to negotiate for yourself and in a win-win strategy using the principles of poker. Because poker and business are very much aligned. And I have a whole business I've had for 15 years, empowering women using poker strategies.
Love
so
it.
Now I have another business now, which is more of a group coaching on how to negotiate for yourself. So I took, the quiz is, what's your personality type? And it's really, you're an ultra aggressor, you're a selective aggressor, you're a calling station, you sort of, do what the other person does. You're in the game, but you're never leading it. And then they would call them the Casper because you wouldn't even know if the person was in the room. So it was initially designed to be what's your poker personality and then what's your negotiating personality, because it all falls in that as well. But I'm having trouble with the, I think it's what you referred to as a caterpillar, because there is a transformation. I have a very good 8-page follow-up they get once they take the quiz. This is who you are, and if you want to be different, you can make XYZ change, and you can make more change if you come to this webinar or whatever. So, but I'm having trouble, just titling it.
Yeah. So I really like the idea of what's your poker personality or your poker style. And then like this BuzzFeedy type quiz, you could have results be maybe different poker players that like use these different strategies. But if you're trying to attract women who don't play poker,
Yes,
that's not going to resonate. Okay.
Right.
So that would be cool. That's a cool quiz, but it's not going to call in the people that you want to work with. It's going to call in poker players because they would want to know what their poker personality is, right? So I think for you, I agree. If these women would relate to the ideal state that they can get to, then I think that's what you want to frame your quiz around. So what is that ideal state? Like, what does it look like? Or are they asking specific questions on how to get there? Like, are they framing that question in a certain way?
They want to know how to ask for more to get their value. That's what they want to
Okay.
know.
So that could be a start to like just brainstorming out titles. That could be a start. How do I get more? How do I ask for more? How do I ask for more? Yeah. And then you have a quiz description, which we'll go into, that could elaborate on what exactly that means. So is it specific to business? Is it specific to your personal life? And then by asking for more, what does that get you? How do you feel? How does your life change? That would be the ideal state. And so including that, you're going to call in you're going to call in women, because you could say, there's different ways to sort of like, just the easiest example I can think of right now is we have a lot of mompreneurs in the group. So you could just be like, hey mom, what's your blank style, right? Then you're calling in moms. If you're not a mom, you're probably not taking this quiz. So if you're only working with women, I'm sure there's ways that we can, once you don't stress too much about this, but once you start brainstorming topics and once you start brainstorming titles, we could figure out a way, does this speak specifically to women if you're not trying to work with men, kind of thing.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll talk about titles a little bit more, but I would start with that one because, well, I'll just tell you now, the action step for today is going to be brainstorming out 100 titles. Doesn't have to be 100, right? But just really like getting out of your own way, putting pen to paper and listing out as many different title ideas that you can think of. Because if you do that, you're going to find something that really stands out that you can start trying. You can A/B test different titles to see what might relate better to your audience. You could even survey your existing audience to be like, which quiz would you rather take? And then give them a list of maybe 3 to 5 titles and see which one are they all asking for. You can drop it in the quiz collective. We can give you feedback on it. We might even be able to, like, let's say you have a title, but you don't love it. If you give us those ideas, that brainstorm list, we can maybe finesse together what that might look like so that you're happier with it. Cool. Patricia.
Yes.
Were you going to say something about your topic?
Well, I was just, I was sort of trying to figure out what the topic of my quiz is. So I'm a copywriter and I want to use it for lead generation. Mm-hmm. So I'm just trying to think of, what are the questions I get all the time. So it's, mm-hmm. I mainly focus on website copy or content. And it's more for personality brands or brands that are led by somebody who's a bit more extroverted. So, and, small to medium-sized businesses who are looking to grow or who are, looking to try something different and their website isn't converting. So
Mhm.
so I'm just trying to figure out what some of the questions I get all the time are.
So maybe your transformative, your ideal state is, how do I get my website to convert? It could be something like that. Another good idea for you, I think, is to drop into this copywriting support channel and see what people are asking, because that's all related to copy. So somebody might be asking a question in there, or you may see a trend of different things people are asking in there that you're like, oh, my audience asks that too. Maybe I could use that.
Okay.
And also, because I feel like you, Patricia, have a little bit more time if you're going to start with your clients the business sales quiz first.
Yeah.
Definitely, if you can make it come to the market research session next week, because that might give you some ideas on where to go to sort of get this insight from your audience, so that you're set up for success. You chose the right topic for your people when you go to create that quiz.
And customer research is a part of my process. So I know how, I have some good ideas how to do it.
Perfect.
But yeah, next week would be really, really useful.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. Anybody else? Questions on topics? All right, so let's get into your quiz title. How do you choose your quiz title? So I have a little template for you here to get started, a little formula. But the market research that you did last week, or maybe you've already had this, should have shown you what your customer's biggest goal is. So could you take that goal and put it into this formula of what is your goal type? And then I have plus embellishment, because maybe that doesn't necessarily sound right when you just put it in like that. Just for example, maybe you help people with financial planning or money goals. You could say, what is your money making type, right? But maybe that doesn't flow off the tongue as well. That's a great place to start. And then, like I said, you want to brainstorm a bunch more. So how can you embellish that? What is your money making mantra or something? It's also really great if you can call in. So what I was saying earlier about the mompreneur, like, hey mom, blah, 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 whatever the quiz title is, could you call out your ideal client so that you're getting more of the right people in there? So maybe you say, maybe your service is your financial services are for people who just graduated from college. Your title could be, what is your post-college money-making mantra? So that you're calling in those people that you really want to work with. And then same thing for those of you who might be in e-commerce, which product is best for you? You could add in your product, or maybe a product category, so that they know, okay, I'm going to take this quiz and figure out which one is best for me, similar to what Henry's House of Coffee did. Which type of coffee should I buy? So it essentially started with, right, which coffee is best for me, but then they changed it to, what type of coffee should I buy? All right, and then I mentioned the description. So you have the quiz title, your quiz image, and then underneath you have some space for a description. I always recommend that you keep this as clear and concise as possible, so that it's very obvious why somebody would want to take this quiz, and it's very clear who you want to take this quiz to. So you could do that by saying, take this quiz to learn goal. So what is it that they're learning from this quiz, so that they can get to the ideal state? And then you insert that in there of, where is it that they really want to be, or where is it that your offering is going to take them? I would be careful. I'm just thinking, some things that I see in the quizzes that are shared in quiz feedback is, try not to keep this super clear and concise and tight, try not to restate the title in the description, because that can take up some extra characters, right? Go ahead, Dan, I see your hand.
The secondary line, that's something I don't have, and I feel like that could be really powerful, especially since this is a screen that people bump into.
Yeah.
Do you care if I share my screen just long enough for you to look
Please
at that?
do. Yeah, I think I might need to stop, and oops, I see 4 in the chat, so I'll look at that right after. Go for it. And so Dan's creating a quiz on, I forget the title now, but there it is, your video content creator type.
And
Dan,
go ahead.
Real quick, I'm so glad you shared this. So do you see where you have awesome video content and then you've entered down and it says, plus I'll recommend the best gear?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it's on the product list or feedback that I've sent in. This will look like this in the builder, but when you publish, the enter mark won't stay. So it will all be stuck together. It won't show. It's fine that you have it separated in here. I just want you to know that, because do you see how it would be nicer if you had the space? It would be easier to read. This, I'm one of those people that hates to read. Like, my eyes just glaze over, especially when I'm on a screen. And so this can feel like a lot to read, and I'm just like, I don't know, so maybe I'll pass it up, so that's why I say get real clear and concise. But I just wanted to call that out because I do see a lot of people putting enters in there, but then it doesn't work. So go for it. What was your question?
Kind of that secondary, or maybe like what you'd call a subtitle. And I almost feel like what you just pointed out, with that being a lot of copy in the middle, part of that could be that subtitle, letting people know what they're going to get out of this. And that's always been a struggle for me in my copy. Like, I know what you're going to get, but it's this big long list of stuff. How do I make it a sentence that you understand what you're going to get?
Yeah. So take this quick quiz. I like that because people know it's fast. Some people even take this 2-minute quiz, this 1-minute quiz, this 5-question quiz to uncover your video creator type. So that sort of, to me, repeats the title of what's your video content creator type. So maybe could you rephrase that into, let's see, let's read it first. So uncover your video creator type and start your journey towards creating awesome video content. So maybe you just say, take this quick quiz to learn how to, or take this quick quiz to start your journey towards creating awesome video content. Plus, I'm going to recommend the best gear for you to start making awesome videos now. But see how also awesome videos is in there twice. So we can combine that together too. So take this quick quiz to start creating awesome video content. Plus, I will recommend the best gear for you to start on your journey, but we use start twice. But at least that knocks it down, right? And I think too, Dan, you could just put this all in one sentence rather than having the enter mark.
Yeah.
Does anybody else on the call have any suggestions? Patricia, maybe your copywriting expertise would be nice. Ellen, go for it.
No, I think what you just said, I don't think you need the second line at all. Yeah, you took it out, right? Do you need to put in that you'll recommend the best gear to start your journey?
The more I read that, the more I think no, because some people already have gear and they want to work with me for different reasons, either to elevate or to get new gear or stuff like that. So like, I don't think this speaks to everyone who might take it, to be honest.
So that's interesting, because I've talked with Dan before about this, and some people really want to work with Dan so that they can figure out the gear that they want. So that might be something, Dan, that you A/B test, or maybe there's different platforms where like beginners are finding you versus more experts. And then you share a different version of the quiz where like those beginners hang out, because if they're really compelled to figure out what gear they want, that might be something that you want to include. What is the ideal state that people will get? So yeah, awesome, or great that they're making awesome video, but like, how is that going to change their life? Or like, what is their ultimate goal? Let's say that instead of making awesome video. Or could we say that instead of making awesome video?
In a generic sense, everyone's after growth. Sometimes even more so than money, even though revenue equals growth sometimes. It's generally like audience growth, growth of communication, growth in general.
Cool. So what about take this quick quiz to start your video journey, and we'll make sure you have the best gear to grow your business through video. Because that way, even if you already have the gear, it's like, oh, do I really have the best gear? I don't know. Dan's going to tell me. Or if you have no idea where to start with gear, you'll know that I can get that information by taking this quiz.
I love that not only are you open to giving ideas out for free, but you hate reading. It's so helpful.
I hate reading.
I don't love reading, but I write like I do, and I don't know why. So I love getting the perspective from someone to just be like, give me a sentence. That's all I need.
Yeah, I like this. So look at that. We said all the same things, but in just one sentence instead of two. And this makes it so much more easier. And I think like this customized packet email, I don't necessarily know what that is. Plus, you're already telling me that you're going to tell me about gear and I'm going to get my video journey started. So I think maybe just take the quiz or take a quiz would work. Yeah. Look at that. Love it.
Thanks for letting me share.
Yeah. Anybody else want to share what their description, their subtitle is, or want to chat through what you have? And also let me check the
Did I
chat.
share mine?
Yeah, absolutely, Gabby.
Cool.
As you pull that up, I'm just going to look in here.
Can I share? Is that enabled?
Yep,
Looks
yeah, you
like
should be able to share. You should. Yep.
Okay.
Justina asked, is there a way to A/B test titles without duplicating the quiz on Interact? Good question. So you can duplicate the quiz on Interact where you have one quiz with one title and the other with another, or you can use the same quiz and then just like maybe you like do title A for a month or so, and then change like on the actual quiz, just change the title out to something new. The only thing I would say about that is you'd be mixing the analytics. So you'd want to make sure you knew where the analytics left off when you change the title so that you would know the impact the other title made, if that makes sense.
It does. So there's no like opportunity for it to like have a setting for randomization or anything like that. So basically there's just no, okay.
No, there's not, but I would love for you to drop that into the feedback.
Yeah.
I'd love you to drop that into feedback and requests, because that's the first I've heard of that. And that's very, very cool. Yeah. And I wonder, I mean, we're a very small team, so my CTO is gonna be like, Jackie, stop giving ideas. But that would be even better if you could use like AI to pick the right title based on the ones that you put in there to get, you know, oh, wow, that's really cool. Put that in feedback, please. I love that.
I will. That's where my marketing brain goes in these conversations is how we can get like the best like test out of it. So I'll put it in the feedback.
Really good. Really good. Okay, Gabby. Okay, Allison, introduce yourself in the chat. Thank you. Okay, cool. All right, Gabby, tell us. Let's look at your subtitle. So what's your boudoir? Say the word for me, please. Boudoir. Thank you.
Boudoir. Yeah, you don't have to say it fancy or like pretend to be French or anything.
Oh, thank you. Okay, good. Photography style. So hello, gorgeous. My name is Gabby and I'm here to help you find your style. Okay, I would take that out because you're going to introduce yourself on the results page, and that might lead people to think that you're going to be selling to them, which people don't necessarily love. So I think I would take that introduction out, but I do really love I might even actually, I'm looking at the picture now, I might even take out hello, gorgeous, because you already have it in the image. That's something that you can play with.
Yeah, that's a good point. Keeping it short, right?
Yes, let's shorten these things up. All right, so boudoir photography helps you connect to your body and express your sensuality without shame. Let's find out what style has the most potential. I like that. Is there something that speaks? I'm just thinking of like the ideal state here of like where people want to get to. So
that's
but
the confidence.
Yeah,
the biggest thing people get from it is the confidence.
Yeah. Okay. So we spoke yesterday in office hours. Was there also something about like self-care in there that you would want to highlight here?
I don't think it necessarily needs to be called out with the words self-care, because I think a lot of this is like self-care, and I don't know, maybe, but it's not like any of the results or questions have anything to do with self-care itself.
Okay.
So I probably could ask some, but yeah.
Okay, so then I would leave it like this. I guess maybe just to shorten up a little bit more, you could start with connect to your body and express your sensuality without shame. Take this quiz to find your boudoir style to boost your confidence and make you feel like the masterpiece you are. Because they know this is
so
about
helpful because I am way too wordy. I'm like Dan just was. I'm like,
you're welcome.
I never talk like that, you know, but when it comes to pen to paper, it's so different. There, how about that?
I love it. I love it. Anybody else feedback on it?
It's so much better. It's so
right?
funny because it's telling me more information about the result I'm going to get. I'm going to get not only the result, but other things too. God, it's so crazy how switching a sentence can just.
You're a wizard, Jackie.
Thank you all. Patricia said in the
Awesome,
comments
thank you.
too. Patricia said in the comments, Gabby, self-care is sometimes overused, and I totally agree. And it can mean a lot of things. So I like this, what you have. I think this is a great start. And I also like the emojis in the title. That's something that you can play around with too, because it just makes it more fun.
I
Right?
love emojis, so I always use them.
Me too. if you
Email
haven't seen
subject
emails.
lines, titles, everything.
Also, fun fact. So Dawn is Interact's copywriter. I have to give it up to Dawn. She's taught me everything I know about copy. But she just sent me an article the other day that adding GIFs to your emails boosts your open rate by, I forget the percent, but it boosts your open rate just by adding in like fun little GIFs. So using
You mean
emojis and GIFs.
emojis?
No, GIFs.
But how can a GIF boost your open rate if you can't see the GIF until you open the
Okay,
email?
I see. That was
Is
a
it the
question,
click
Gabby.
rate?
It was the click rate.
Okay,
I think it
okay,
was.
that makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense.
I'm also gonna find the article and resend it so that you know that you all know I'm telling the truth here. But yeah, it must have been open rate or click rate. You're right. But yes, it really gets people like emojis, GIFs, it gets people's eyes like reading down the page. It moves them to new sections. So
Can I just ask a question, Gabby?
yeah.
Like, have you read that outside, like out loud? It would seem long. Like if you could.
Yeah, it is long, but that's kind of how I talk, just like really long sentences. And that's why writing is a little bit of a struggle for me.
Okay. And that was my only question, because if people are like, okay, where do I stop? So I don't know if you could put a period and then so is a different sentence, or if that's how your audience reads or wants to.
Do you mean making, I almost feel like if I got rid of this hyphen and I put a period, it's harder to read now.
You stop sharing, Gabby.
Okay, let me share. Okay. Yeah, so this is with the 2 sentences. And I don't know, I kind of think that's harder.
I use hyphens a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you could take out the hyphen and the word so and just shame period. Let's find out.
Ooh, okay. Okay, yes. It was definitely the so that was it was definitely
it's a bit more impactful. Yeah.
What's that?
Sorry, it just makes it more impactful, I think.
Yes. Okay, that's good. Okay.
Let's find out. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. This is great, you guys. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, that looks really good. And Patricia, that's a really good point of writing your copy, walking away from it, like get away from it, get it out of your face, and then come back and read it out loud. And I bet you'll make so many improvements to that if you do it like that, because exactly like Patricia said, if it's not something that you would say, don't write it. All right, anybody else want to share or talk about their quiz title or description?
I would, except
yeah.
I'm streaming this on my phone and my computer's in my.
I think I can help you out, Erica. Let me, because I know it's in the Quiz Collective. So let me find your quiz and I can share it.
This has been
I just can't edit it for you, but maybe I could put it in the comments or something. All right, and actually I'm going to share my screen while I pull this up just so you can all see in here where I go. Okay, so you should see the Quiz Collective. And if you come here to quiz feedback, I am going to use the search bar here to look for Erica. Ooh. And fun fact, if you just, well, okay, so here's all the comments. It's this one, I think. Here it is. Sorry, I'm trying to move my Zoom controls that always get in my way. Okay, here's the quiz. So this is Erica's quiz. And just to like relate back to what we were talking about earlier, this is the image that I was talking about, Erica, where it's like I saw the gems and that's just what prompted me to think, okay, I'm gonna get a gem as a result. But like I said, it didn't really affect, like I was fine with it by the time I got to the results page.
Oh, okay. Would you recommend, like, what kind of image would you recommend substituting it for that would be, because I also didn't want to be too distracting and people think Like I'm trying to like take it, not make it about me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as you should, as you should. Making it about your people is the best thing to do. People love to talk about themselves and find information about themselves. I think so. We found that okay, it's not that you have to do this, but we found that successful quizzes use an image of a happy person. So a person who looks like they are in the ideal state that your audience wants to get to. So maybe you could play around with testing this image versus a person, a woman, juggling all of the things, just being a boss.
Okay. Do you think though that, because then I think about stock photography, but then I also have a lot of images, and being that I'm promoting the site, the quiz through my site, and also a lot of the like a strategy that I'm implementing in order to get more eyes on the quiz this year is making this my freebie at like speaking engagements and things like that. So, but also being that my topic is joy, do you think it would be weird if it would be like an image? And I smile a lot generally, you know what I mean? Like, but then I also don't want it to be about me. So I guess, I don't know if stock images perform as well on like pages that aren't, you know what I mean? Do you know what I feel like
I do. No, I hear what you're saying. You're saying because you're the ideal state, like you're the woman that the people want to become. So could you use an image of yourself, or does that look like you're just like bragging about yourself and you want to use an image that of someone that people don't necessarily know, or an image that people can like see themselves in? That honestly would be a great question to drop in the Quiz Collective for Francine. She's our branding and design expert. I'd be curious. She does a lot of work with graphics and stock images, so I would be curious to hear what she has to say about that. But me personally, I wouldn't be mad if I saw a picture of you here being super happy. Does anybody else, I don't know, does anybody else have a take on that? Dan from video, I know videos are very different than photos, but is there anything that like relates there about that?
I think he said he had to hop off. Was that him?
Oh no.
Yep.
Yes, he did. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so Gabby wrote in the chat, if it's for coaching thing, I think posting a picture of yourself looking like that idea and state would be really appealing. Also, you just saw in Gabby's quiz, she had a picture of herself as the cover image.
That's true too. And I am offering a lot more coaching. And I think, I don't know, the more I talk about this, I think that could be a thing where, especially being how I'm marketing this, where when people are visiting my site, like this is now the first thing that they're seeing versus like, hi, my name is Erica. But if they would have just seen me at a speaking engagement, I think maybe it may help, I think, and an opportunity, because it's almost like this is an opportunity for you to continue to do the work with me, but also understand how it relates personally with you as an individual.
Yeah, I think that's something that would be really great to test out. And I would also ask that to Francine just to see what she says. But I have a feeling testing it is going to be the only way to know for sure.
Thank you.
All right, so let's look at your subtitle. So what's your Joy Gem superpower? I think the changes that we discussed earlier of like putting the description of a Joy Gem and adding it to that podcast section in your results will clear that like issue that I had up of like expecting something different. So I would leave the title as is for now because your brand is really around this term. So the description, take this 90-second quiz to uncover your Joy Gem superpower and reveal the secret to unlocking your fullest potential and maximizing your joy this season. You'll also receive a customized roadmap with action steps and resources to help you leverage those gems and confidently navigate your way to freedom and joy. I like this, and also the way that you have it written doesn't feel like I have to read a lot. I like the bold because I'm basically just like my eyes are drawn right to that. I wonder if you are wanting to shorten it, if you could sort of combine these two things, because where you say unlocking your fullest potential, maximizing your joy, and confidently navigating your way to freedom and joy, are those the same things? Like, is that repetitive? Or is that supposed to mean something different?
I think it was supposed to not, you know why I put them in there? Okay, I remember why. Because when I would look at the data from the people that I'm serving and also the Joy Gem types, because when I was creating the quiz, as I started doing it, I realized I was getting clarity around the specific types. Like, oh, this is that person that I served. That was that person that I served. So some of the keywords that I've kind of gained over the year, months as I've been doing the coaching is like, people want confidence, people want clarity, people want like to get their lives organized. Some people are looking for guidance. So basically, popping those words, like freedom is what they all want, but they just don't understand how to get there with confidence. Say hi to Miss Jackie.
Hi, Miss Hello.
Bye.
So cute.
Thank you. Not right now. So those are the reason why, that's the reason why I included the second question, the second sentence. As far as the fullest potential, and I guess it does that too, but I don't know. I don't.
I also wonder, Erica, can you explain what a Joy Gem is in like a sentence?
So a Joy Gem for me is like something that helps. It's like a mantra. It's a joy mantra that I include at the end of each episode, but also some of my work, or at least part of, you don't necessarily have to be a believer in order to engage with the work. But as it relates to my podcast, when I speak about things and themes, at the end of each episode, I share a scripture that kind of like got me thinking around that Joy Gem. So, or around the theme for the day. And so that's kind of what the Joy Gem is. But again, outside of the biblical references, it's really like the mantra that you're going to carry in terms of how you're going to hold on to your joy for your journey. But as far as the quiz, the Joy Gem, the piece that I want people to hold on to is like understanding the thing that you may perceive as a weakness is actually your strength type thing. You know what I mean? And I'd read this article around how to build out the quiz that kind of, I remember one of the main things was speaking to the strengths. And so, I mean, literally I did this in less than 3 days. So it was like the first thing that came in, it was like, oh, this works, but maybe I could better think it through.
Well, listen, hold up really quick. You said you were getting really great results. So this could be working really, really well. Like just because this is longer than the ones that we were talking about doesn't mean that you need to change this, especially if the quiz is working and you're getting the right people in that, like you're attracting the right leads. So if that's the case, I wouldn't stress too much about this at all. I would keep going with it. You can always change it later.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay,
yeah,
and I did check the leads thing, and I hadn't done that before, and it's converting at 70%, so maybe I will just leave it, I think.
Yeah, that is good. I typed this as you were kind of talking. So I wonder, don't use it like this, but I wonder if you could say in the chat something like that, where like you're saying your Joy Gem, your mantra, just something like really quick so that I understand what a Joy Gem is. Like it sort of explains that. And then it's telling me that that's going to help me uncover my fullest potential and maximize my freedom and joy right now. And Patricia, great question. So the space does not take in the Interact Builder, but this cover page that Erica made is on her own website, her own domain. So actually I'm going to do this so you can all see when you click. So Erica made this page, right? And you can do this so that you have more creativity, more freedom to make it look like what you want it to look like. In the builder, it's pretty like you have the title, the image, the description, that you can change colors, right? And fonts, but that's it. So Erica made this page herself. And then if you click take the quiz, it takes you right to question 1. You're not re-seeing the cover page of the Interact builder quiz. And so there's a way in the settings that you can remove the Interact cover page so that you can design your own. And when they click in, it just opens right to question 1. If anybody's wanting to do that, let me know and I can share. We have some blog posts or help docs that walk you through exactly how to do that. You can do this whether you're embedding your quiz on a landing page or you're just sharing a link. Either one will work, where you just start them right off into question 1. If anybody took Shanti's quiz on quizzes from last week's homework, she does the same thing. So her cover image, I believe, was created in Canva. So it looks really nice. It fits the style of her website. Once you click on take the quiz, it automatically just opens to Q1, question 1. It's not the Interact, the cover page of the Interact builder. Cool. And it is not the pro version. I know you can do this on any of the paid plans. I think you could even do it on the free plan if anybody's on a free plan. The thing with the free plan is you can't collect email leads though. So that's a good question. I'm going to find out, Patricia, if it's different on the plans, but I'm like 90% sure that it's not. No matter which plan you're on, you're able to remove the cover image. All right. Let me go back to our slides here and move your pretty faces. Okay, and then you should see again, we're back on the slides, right? Can you see those? Perfect. All right, so just an example of, we don't even really talk about this because I loved the examples that you all showed, but this is just one more example from a template in the builder. The title is, do you have what it takes to make your blog blast off? That title is calling in bloggers. If you're not a blogger, you are probably not taking this quiz, but that's okay because the person launching this quiz wants to speak to bloggers. I also know from the cover that my blog is about to blast off. It's about to get noticed, make traction, do bigger and better things. And then in the subtitle, it's giving me a little bit more of those specifics of I'm going to be set up for success, and I'm even going to get some answers that I don't even know I need to know yet. So just one more example of keeping that description like tight and concise. But as you can see, that doesn't always have to be the case. Erica, I think your description is working. The analytics shows that it's working. So it doesn't always have to be just like this. All right, and then here's my favorite slide. Why didn't it change? Brainstorm 100 titles. So as you're going through and thinking about the topics that you want to write about or what your quiz already is, or if you don't love the title that you have right now, write it on a paper. And like I said, get out of your own head. Don't edit a thing. Just make a whole list of as many titles as you can think of. Maybe set a timer for 5, 10, 15 minutes and just write down as many ideas as you can think about. Walk away from that, put it away, come back to it, and I'm sure something will stand out. Or like I said, you can share that list with us in the Quiz Collective and we can help you finesse things or tell you which titles we like the most or make the most sense. All right, so that is how you create a quiz title. I think everybody here on the call is good for that. If anyone has any other questions, let me know, drop them into the chat. And if anyone's catching the replay, let us know in the Quiz Collective where you're stuck, what you're thinking, and we can chat more about your title specifically. All right, so let's talk. Erica, yes, go ahead.
Oh, no, it wasn't about this specifically. I was wondering about some other stuff that,
Tell me.
Oh, okay. So I'm like literally going down this list of stuff that you sent. I would have done this in office hours yesterday if I known. I'm so sorry. But there was something that you'd asked about, what do I want people to know in the journey guide session? Like what, or if they're clicking on the program that I want them to take, they aren't yet that I can tell as far as the analytics, but I wasn't sure if that's an analytic thing that I need to look at on my end, or well, yeah, actually, because everything is done through my site. Actually.
It would be through, yeah, it would be. Yeah. And we do have tech experts in the community. So if you're not sure how to do that or the best way how to do that, or you want to talk about that, or if that's an expert that we should maybe bring in, we can absolutely do that. I know exactly the feedback that you're talking about. And actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I want to show you something that didn't make sense in the way that I wrote it, but we'll go through your results page. So let's go through these slides because I wonder if you'll kind of consider any of these ideas into your results as we go through them. And then once we talk about what goes into a results page, how you can really build your authority and give value to your people, then we can look at your, rather than maybe even, well, I don't know. I was going to say, ignore me. I was going to say, instead of doing the templates, we'll just look at your result, but we'll do both. So after we look at what I say like typical, like what we would suggest to include in your results page, then we'll take a look at yours, Erica, and we can go more through that feedback so that we can like see what would make most sense to update. Cool?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, so regardless of the quiz type that you all are making, so personality, assessment, scored quiz, the results pages are really where you want to wow your people and build your authority, because that's what's going to get them excited to go check their emails, to stay engaged with you, to take the advice that you're maybe giving in the results pages, like Erica's linking out to podcasts. So you want them to click on it. You want them to keep following you, that you want them to be engaged and excited about the content you're giving them. And just one more little plug for our templates. The really nice part about using the Interact templates, or at least looking at them as you get started in this, is you can use the format that we have set up for your own quizzes, and you can just kind of change out the information that you want to say to your people. All right, so we have this Barnum 4 effect, and this is what is used in like those magazine horoscopes, where it doesn't really matter which one you read, it resonates with you. There's something about it that you can connect to. And so you want to sort of use this effect in your results, because you want your results to be specific, but you also want them to be vague and general enough so that they apply to, or they relate to, a wide range of people. You can't really control who's going to click into your quiz. And especially if you're using a topic, a title, a description on like calling in the right people, then you want to make sure the results feel like they apply to anybody who will get onto that results page. So you're going to be asking questions that lead people to different results, right? So you don't have to stress about getting this absolutely perfect. I think sort of rule of thumb is keep your results vague and positive, and people will feel seen. So well, actually, Erica, when we look at your page, we can look at maybe some of that if anything feels too specific. But I think you did a really, like when I read it, I was like, yep, that's me. So I think just rule of thumb, keep your results pages. You want to just keep them vague and positive enough so that they relate to a wide range of people. I'm trying to think of an example here of sometimes I see in other quiz feedback that has, like other quizzes that have been shared in the feedback channel, it's like you feel stuck. You can't get off the couch. You're always watching Netflix, let's just say, right? Sometimes, like maybe that's true. Maybe like I do feel stuck, but I'm not always on the couch watching Netflix, right? Just by adding you feel stuck, maybe you're always on the couch watching Netflix. Just adding that maybe makes it general enough where I'm like, well, that's not me, but I do feel stuck. I relate to the overall theme that you're talking about on the results. But even if you're saying something super specific, I still feel like, okay, that part wasn't me, but that's okay. I still really resonate with this. All right, so I bring that example up because that's just like a little trick to get specific, but have it still feel vague. It's like maybe, it's like these sort of like qualifying words that like it's not like for sure, right? All right, so then we have the 3-1 rule, and this is the idea that you should give value at least 3 times before you ask for anything. So when you're including like your resources, Erica has her podcast in there. If Dan's going to be sending out a guide of like maybe a gear checklist or something, those are resources that you might already have created that are really going to go a long way in helping people see the value that you offer, especially when it's the exact thing that they are looking for, which you'll know based on the result that they got or the way that they're answering certain questions. So they're really going to get an idea of how you help them by sharing this value with them on the results pages. So now I want to go through, I'm using a template, what's your workout personality? And this is again from the builder. And I just want to show you sort of what these strategies look like in action. And then we'll take a look at Erica's results pages. And why won't my slides change? Here we go. So number one, your result title should 1000% answer the quiz question. People will feel, people can feel really cheated or like they wasted their time if they took the quiz, they're really excited about getting this information, and then they get to the result and it doesn't answer the question. It doesn't like come full circle and give them the answer. So that if that happens, they're likely not going to be excited to work with you. They might unsubscribe from your list as they see your emails come in. So in this template, the quiz title is called What's Your Workout Personality? And so here's the cover image and the title, You're the Olympian. So it's answering the quiz question. And number two, you want to reflect what you know about your quiz taker back to them. Again, don't stress about this being too perfect or too specific. As long as you're positive and your questions correlate pretty well to the result that they're going to get, then you should be fine with this. And so what does this look like? Here in the on the results page, we're telling them they're Olympian. And right here, we're sort of reiterating back to them what we now know about them from the quiz. So cater to their egos a little bit without going overboard and really get them excited to share their results with the world. In week 5, we'll talk about sharing your quiz, but by sort of like boosting people's egos and telling them what they're really great about or really great at, they are more likely to share their quiz result on social media, which is a big part in what helps quizzes go viral. Because if other people are doing the work of sharing quizzes to their followers, their friends are more likely to take that quiz because it's coming from a friend and not an ad or a business. So really staying positive here and getting people excited about their result will help them to share it more. So in this result, we are calling them an Olympian. We're talking about the energy and the devotion that they have. And we even say, or we're encouraging that they are encouraging and helping other people to be and do better here. So all great things. And then number 3 is to give a lot of value. So the 3-1 rule. So easy wins and awesome resources that you've already created that really relate to the transformation that you're helping these people achieve is a really great way to provide this value. Now, you also don't want to give everything away for free, right? So these are, and just so everybody knows, this is like I'm taking screenshots down the results page. So we start with the Olympian, the positivity. Now we're in this like quick wins section. And so like we're not really giving anything away here by saying, listen to music while you work out. We're telling them why they should go do that and like what it's going to change. But I'm not giving anything. I'm giving you value without giving my business away for free, right? So that's something that comes up on these coaching calls is people are like, what? I have to give all these resources away, but like, why would they pay me if I'm giving all the information up front? So think of ways like really quick wins, super easy takeaways that they can apply right away that will help them see changes, but that like drink plenty of water. So many people can add that into their quizzes. Everybody should drink more water, right? Take a deep breath. Everybody could stand to stop and take a deep breath. Those are super easy, quick wins that you can take away right now without me giving you everything, all the information away for free. And a really great way to sort of embellish your brand and your authority, especially if you're using the template, is let's say you were using this one and number 1 is listen to music. You could link in here like a Spotify playlist that you listen to, or maybe that you've created for these different people. And so that's something that they can very easily, quickly download, walk away, go to the gym, start listening to it. And especially if they like it, they're going to come back for more. They're gonna be really engaged. They're gonna really like you. They're gonna see the value that you offer them. So that's just a super easy way to sort of embellish, especially if you're using the templates, embellish that with your own brand and style. And then absolutely introduce yourself, put a bio in there, and be clear that you're an authority in your field, even if you don't feel like one. So here again, just further down the page is the bio, and this is from the template. So this is what I was talking about earlier. Krista Foster is not a real person. You're not stealing her quiz if you're going to use this template. This is just a fake persona that we've dropped in here. And so this is where you really can get your leads to know, like, and trust you. You're introducing yourself to them. You're giving them information, or you should give them information about where you came from, how you can help them, what you'll be sharing with them now that they're in your community or in your space. But again, relate this back to how it is that you can help them. So you're talking about yourself, yes, but then relate it back to how that helps them, because people love to talk about themselves. And then just a reminder, if you are using a template and you're going to use it exactly as is, like I said earlier, that is totally fine. But please make sure you change out the bio to your own, because you don't want somebody taking the quiz and finding this random persona of somebody who's not really real and won't get in touch with you, right? So I don't think that's ever happened, but I always like to call it out. If you're using a template exactly as is, at least change the bio. All right, and then end the results page with what's going to happen next, so they expect it. They know what to go look for or what to do. And so here again, just at the bottom of the same results page, we highlight the best resources or freebies that point your quiz takers in the right direction that makes the most sense to them. So again, they got to this result for a reason. They told you in the questions where they were at in their journey or what it is that they're looking for. So what resources do you have that are specific to where they're at right now? That should probably look different to, like, across the different results pages. Or maybe you have one, let's say I had a free quiz guide and I put it in here. Maybe I would speak to the different reasons they would want to use this guide, or that they like that how this guide would help them based on the results that they got. Just as an example, some people use quizzes for lead generation. Some people are using quizzes to segment their existing lists. Those are two different people and two very different reasons to use quizzes. So if I now know why you want to use a quiz, let me speak to that, even if it's the same guide that I'm sharing, as opposed to telling someone trying to create a list, generate leads, how to segment them. They're not interested in that at that point. And then here, I love here at the bottom, plus expect me to see me in your inbox with made for you workout tips. So I now know, okay, you just popped into my inbox, or when you do show up in my inbox, I'm going to know that you came from the quiz, and I'm going to be probably, try to do this, get me excited about going to my inbox and opening that up. So this is a template, so it's pretty generic, right? I would elaborate, or I would go a little further than just giving workout tips or tips related to your business. Think about like maybe one resource or freebie that you already have that you could link in the first email that you send them, and then you tell them, I'll be in your inbox with this information. If you don't have a freebie or resource, maybe it's just a blog post that you relate to or that you really like. If you don't want to share that blog post, maybe it's just the information that you've learned from it or that you've gathered over your time in your industry, and you include that in the email. It doesn't have to be like a physical PDF guide that they get or anything. It could just be the email that gives them the information. But if you tell me exactly what you're going to be sending me, I'm going to be much more excited to go check my inbox to make sure I get that than if you just tell me, hey, I'm going to send you some more tips. Any questions on that, on the results page?
I got a quick one.
Yeah.
With the ending being one part that seems like no matter the result, it would be pretty similar or the same. Can you just copy and paste that between all your results? Just literally?
Yeah, you can. And so Dan, I know you're starting out with the template. So let's just say you start with one result and you write the whole thing out. You can copy all of that into the other pages and then just change out the information that would be different for each result. Because in some cases, yeah, the resources or maybe even the quick wins might be the same. So just copying it over, especially if you have things linked in there, all of that will save as you copy over to the different pages. Good question. All right, so for those of you who are wanting to create a personality quiz where you're like calling out personality traits about a person, I have a little trick for you or some tips for you on how to sort of segment those people or create the results that you want to put them into. So the easiest way to do this is using a framework like the DISC model. I like the DISC model. It's what most of our personality quiz templates are based off of because there's 4 options. So the Enneagram has, I think, like 9 styles, and Myers-Briggs, I'm not even sure how many combinations of personalities you can have there, but DISC really simplifies it down to 4. We suggest to have 4 to 6 results. And so you can use this framework to sort of categorize or bucket your people, segment them. If you don't know what the DISC profile is, it's basically, you're just finding their personality type. So you might be more familiar with Myers-Briggs or Enneagram. This is just like that. But what we want you to do is think about the different people that you generally attract, or think about your existing audience, your existing customers. What are sort of like, how do they act? What do they need? Where are they at in their business? And does that relate to, okay, maybe not where they're at in their business, but how does that relate to these 4 DISC personalities or categories? And if it sounds like I'm talking to you in code, I will send this link in the replay email so that you can learn more about the DISC framework if you're interested. But I am just going to show you this quick slide of what DISC means. So here's just a breakdown. You can be a D, an I, an S, or a C personality type. There's just a little bullet point off to the side on what each is. But you can see that like somebody with a D or dominance personality, it says they tend to be confident and place an emphasis on accomplishing bottom line results. So if you have people that you're using this as your framework for your results, you would want to, you like when we talk about being positive, you could speak to their confidence. They tend to be confident, so talk to that, right? They place an emphasis on accomplishing bottom line results. So give them very clear, in the results pages, give them a very clear outline of what it is that they need to do in order to achieve this thing. How are they going to get to these results? What do those results look like? And then you'll also notice, you might notice in the templates, we use different like quotes sometimes or different headlines in there. And that's all done to break up the text within the results pages, especially if they're longer. And it really, like, quotes or different headlines, emojis, GIFs, pictures help to bring the reader's eyes down the page. And so you can even just Google quote for D personality type DISC, and Google will spit out a bunch of quotes for D type personalities that you could use in your results pages. So those are just really nice to break up different like big chunks of text.
Could I ask a question? So with my quiz being like a photography style, it's not quite the same as like a profile. So instead I had like 5 different styles: dark and moody, high key, bodyscapes, classic, and modest. And I don't know if I need to like somehow personify those, but I really hate the overuse of the word like babe, which is everywhere. And it's like dark and moody babe, modest babe, but I can't think of any other way to personify things except for like names that annoy me. So is it okay if I just name it the style?
Yeah, absolutely. And so this is more so for people who are trying to tell people about their personality. So with your style, I don't think that you need to use this DISC framework at all, because when you're giving the, well, you might.
It might be helpful for me to figure out some of the questions, but I don't know how I could make the final.
Well, I was even going to say in the beginning of the results page where you sort of like reaffirm what you know about them and kind of like boost their ego and give them some positive things to think about or positive things about themselves. That's where this framework comes in handy, because when we talk about like being vague and staying positive, everybody is one of these profiles. So I wonder if the different styles relate to these at all, so that you could use sort of like the positive affirmations there to, like, that's what you would talk about.
I can try that. I do have one question that is like, how do your friends describe you or whatever? So I think that could be a good one where people can kind of talk about their positive.
Yeah, for
qualities,
sure.
and I was planning on referencing those in the results page.
Yeah. And so are your styles, Gabby, are your styles more about like the setup of the photography, what do you call it? Like the backdrop and the props and all that? Or is it more so like about me? But I also totally see how you're relating the two, right? Like
it's the style. I can share, if I can share my screen, I can just show you.
Yeah, I think I just have
I
to
have them
stop sharing.
organized. I have a visual aid. Where did it go? Here it is. Yeah, so I have dark and moody, high key. Oh yeah, is nudity allowed on the photos or not? That's a question I had.
That is a good question. I think that, I mean, I don't think Interact monitors that because these are your quizzes. So I would just be careful or work with your legal team on where you're sharing it.
Oh yeah. I just don't put it in the front, basically. Yeah, so then classic and modest. So it's kind of like, it's sort of related to people's personality types. So different vibes that people have could lead them to like different styles. And that's kind of where I'm going at it. But the name of the type itself is related to like how the look of the photo is.
Yeah. And so that you don't get hung up on like what the title is, I would just drop it in there as you have it so you can keep going. We can always come back and perfect that. Erica mentioned in the chat, instead of babe, maybe you could say vibe or something.
Yeah, but I mean, is this just fine on its own? Like, can I just have
it's a style for sure.
Okay, cool. Because that would be nice. All right.
I would say again, because so that I mean, this obviously answers the question. If the title is what's your style, maybe you could say your style is dark and moody.
Okay, I like that. That gives it a little bit more than just plop the name out there.
Yeah, Dan, go for it.
So this might be cheesy, but even from office hours, I love what Gabby's doing, and the approach is just so cool. So it makes me think a little bit about superheroes, in the sense that a lot of fans of superheroes is because they can see something in them that they wish they were, or that is like them. So I think it's cool because this almost sets itself up for you to be able to personify yourself as this, even if it's just for that day that you shoot. So I think it speaks to personality in the way of like, oh, I've always liked dark and moody things. I think that's the vibe that I fit, you know. And then if that does end up being the case, all of a sudden they're excited to like put on the suit, you know.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm hoping for with the quiz. Like some of the questions that I brainstormed were like, what type of lingerie do you like to wear, or what outfit do you feel most comfortable in? So based on like the outfit that the person feels most comfortable in, that might lend them toward a different style that will like some people don't want to be naked. Some people are cool being naked. So nudescapes is great. Some people hate being naked. So modest is great, so based on what makes them feel comfortable and good already, that's how they can know which style to go for.
Yeah, Dan, when you said that, I even think, and again, Gabby, this is only if it relates to your audience, but you could even maybe have the results pages of like different supermodels. I'm just thinking like supermodels are super confident, right? And so that would change up your quiz.
That wouldn't work for my brand because my brand is like a lot more inclusive than most supermodel representation in the media. So that's why I would use my own work also. Like I don't need to promote other photographers. I want everyday women to be able to look at these and be like, that could be me, versus like a supermodel. I would never look like her. I'm never gonna like be skinny like a supermodel. And so because I don't look like her, I shouldn't get a boudoir shoot. That's kind of like the thing that I'm trying to counter.
That's cool. And I love the title that you have already of what's your style, because it gets them to imagine themselves in this setting so that they're that much more ready to go do it. I was more so thinking like if you wanted to go the route of like the BuzzFeedy clickbaity type quiz, if people that you're wanting to attract or that are in your audience are researching different people or following different people. It's sort of like, we see a lot of quizzes like, what's your, why can't I think of an example now? But it's like, even if it's in business, like which entrepreneurial guru are you? And it's like Beyonce and oh gosh, what's the Tesla guy? Why am my mind just gone?
But I kind of get what you mean, like using public figures as
if that relates. Patricia also dropped in the comments, you don't want people to feel less than supermodels. So if that's going to turn people off of like, oh, I'll never look like that, then definitely don't go that route. But that's just something that you could use. Elon Musk, thank you so much, Allison. That's just something that you could use as like a name for your results page that matches the style that you're explaining in the results.
Okay. That is okay. Yeah. For naming, I'll have to think about that because naming is not my forte, but that's definitely really good.
I'd go with what you have and say your style is dark and moody. Your style is whatever the other styles that you have. I'd start with that because the results page, the content of the page, even if you changed it to this, let's just say supermodels, superhero theme, then the content of the page would still be the same. You would literally just change the title to what's your photography superhero style, maybe. That's terrible, but you know what I'm saying? And then you rename the result page as this one, that one. But the content itself wouldn't change at all. Patricia, go for it.
I put it in the comments and I don't really know, when you're talking about, which one do you feel comfortable in? Are you looking for that empowerment? Are you looking, is it more powerful than comfortable?
I don't use either of those words. I use, so the first question I have is, what outfit do you feel most confident in? So I definitely want them to get in that mindset of like, I feel like a badass right now. Second is, what type of lingerie do you love to wear? So it's really not about like, and it took me a while to come up with those questions too, because the wording is so particular, like how you're talking about. It is so particular. So I'm pretty happy with those because I feel like they're not necessarily like most, especially in the pandemic, how many people wear freaking lingerie, like it's just like not that common. So it's not about like, what do you feel most powerful in? Because people don't necessarily feel powerful when they're mostly naked, but they can feel good about themselves when they are. So that's kind of what I'm getting at. And I have to go. But thank you for the feedback, and I will keep on working on this between now and next week.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing. That was really great. And thank you everybody for the feedback on that. That was really great too. I love when we have conversations about this. I would like to share Erica's quiz results page so that we can look through that. And I think this is another really great example because Erica created her results pages outside of Interact. So she built her own landing pages on her own sites and then automatically redirected people from the builder. So when they get to they put their email, they get to their result, they're being automatically sent to her website page as opposed to the page created within the builder. There's different reasons that you would maybe want to do that. I talked earlier about linking back to results. So like if you're sending a first email and you want to link them back, you would to the results page, like, hey, if you forgot what your result was, here it is. You would want to create that on your own landing page because there isn't a URL to the different results pages within the builder. It also gives you a little bit more creativity because there's only so much you can change and do within the builder. Whereas if you have your own page, you can add as many videos as you want, put whatever like styles and all of this in there. So this will be a good one to share because it just looks different than what some of you might have seen from within the builder. So Erica, I just quickly answered the question so that we could get to a result page. So I don't really necessarily know like what I clicked on to get here, but we can look more at that next week, questions and segmentation, if you're feeling like people don't resonate with their result. But what I want to do here is just kind of share show off the information that you're sharing. And then we'll talk through some of that feedback that I gave you that didn't make sense. So right here, it is very clear. The title of the quiz, again, is what's your Joy Gem superpower? So it's very clear that this is the answer to that question. My Joy Gem superpower is vision. So then here is that sort of positive reaffirmation of I'm a highly creative and intelligent individual. See here, I love this. At times, your genius can be hard to follow and duplicate because maybe it I don't necessarily feel like that. Or maybe I always feel like that. Either way, at times makes sense to both of those people. So that's a way that you can just like use words to keep things a little more vague, if that makes sense. What you need to maximize your joy and take your creative juices to the next level is a little more structure and organization in your processes. Okay, well, I'm going to jump around here because I've seen this page or the format of this page before. So I would like, before you tell me what I need to do that's like not working or what I could be better at, I'd love a little bit more ego boosting. So here, here's where you lost me, Erica. I was like, oh, so much to look through. I think what I would do is move these strengths, things that I'm really awesome at, up to here. So it's underneath this or in line with this or something, so that you're elaborating on, so like right here after yourself, you're elaborating on what I'm really good at, positive things, and just how awesome I am, right? I forget, I'd have to go back to check, but there was one, like, so I forget the result that I got, but I wrote it to you in the feedback I gave. In the first bullet point of that results page, it said the same thing. I think it was up here, but it was somewhere else on the page. So it was just like duplicate content that you could remove just by adding all of that sort of like positive reaffirmation up here at the top. So then I think it's awesome that then you can kind of like lead into the problem, right? Or like where I'm getting stuck. So then it's what you need to maximize your joy is a little more structure. And then I think you can go into this of here are ways that you can charge your joy. So these are sort of like those 3 quick wins that you can give away on how I can charge my joy. This doesn't make sense to me. I need organized origins. What is that?
Okay, so this is the part where I I kind of intentionally put stuff like that in to get people wondering, because my email sequence after explains like basically each section of, I guess, what is my 3-to-1 ratio, like 3 things of value and before the ask. But organized origins is when I was creating the quiz, I kind of did it backwards before I remembered I needed to speak to the strengths, not the weaknesses, or like why people were coming to me. So when I was creating the quiz, before I realized like, oh, vision is actually what the superpower is, I kept thinking about the people who were coming to me because they needed to get organized, the different clients and their character traits and things like that. But what they wanted and what they needed from me was organization in a number of ways, given their journey, where they were and what they do for a living. Like one was a mom, another one's a man who's a photographer, another one's an artist who is a mom and also has a design business and an art business. But like the fundamental thing was like needing to structure themselves. And for me, it's always about doing things with joy. So like, how can you create joy-led habits that give you organized origins so that you can maximize your vision and your joy and your creativity? So it's confusing here now, I think, because it may be random, but like they understand it a little better they will understand it a little better, I think, like 2 or 3 emails from now, because it's elaborated on.
Yeah, I wonder if, so I like this to charge your gems you need. And then I think I would go into this because I think that those are ways to charge your joy gems, right? Maybe I would talk about the importance of organization, or maybe, sorry for the scrolling, maybe I would include that down here in sort of like the what's happening next, so that it makes more sense. Like, let me know, like, I guess it could be a topic that you lead into on your results page, but it's not necessarily like you can lead into it, but you're not totally talking about it now. Like this doesn't make sense. So I don't think it's needed here. Go for it, Dan.
This is in story development. One of the things I love is leading with conflict or pointing out the elephant in the room. And this is totally take it or leave it. But what this got me excited about is like me reading this and going, what the heck? And then in small letters underneath, like, don't worry about that. We'll find out in the emails that are coming your way or whatever. Just enough where the story starts building, like you said, is kind of already happening.
Yeah. Or, I mean, I haven't read this part, but does this relate to organization? If so, that under here would make total sense. You need organized origins, and then it goes into more information on how I'm charging my joy and like how that relates to organization. But yeah, I like that. That's a good point, Dan, of just like a little, and it keeps it kind of fun too, right? Like, and engage, like, oh, I gotta look out for those emails because I want to know what she's talking about here.
Yeah, I love that, Dan. Thank you so much.
All right, so then this would like kind of remove this section if you split this up sort of like top and bottom instead of side by side. Because for me, this was just a lot of back and forth and it was so much text. I had so much trouble here. Okay, great. You're like leading me into the next thing, but first let me introduce myself. Beautiful picture, beautiful text. I think that, yep, you're committed to helping me find my freedom. Let me just read this really quick. Yeah, see, like you only explaining like what it is that you do in the first paragraph, and the rest of this is about them. Perfect.
It's a dope photo too. Just got to throw that out there.
Thank you so much. My sister took it. She did everything. It was a Sippy collab. I'm really excited.
I love it. It does. It looks like a professional photo. I don't know if she's a professional photographer or not, but she needs a quiz.
I'm helping her build her business. Don't worry. The quiz bit is coming for her.
Coming. I love it. I love it. Okay, so then we go back into, I like this too, of like, let's keep in touch. And then, okay, so here's the guide that you were talking to earlier. Okay, I gave you feedback about this. What is it? So check out your guide below, but first, here's my intro.
You said that you weren't sure like where you'd find those people, which is also something that I include in my follow-up email sequence. And I included it because I know that those people, anyone who's just coming in doesn't know what that means. But what I'm trying to do is like get them to want to become a part of the community, because within the community, they'll connect with those people and they'll be able to understand with clarity how their Joy Jam can support the other person based on another email that's coming in the sequence about understanding who they connect with in case they forget, but then understanding how their Joy Jam actually helps the others and how they can be supported by the others as well.
I think I want you to tell me that, not in all those words, and maybe using the style that Dan just said before of like, it's coming, but letting me know that I can find these people in the community, because I didn't even know there was a community. Maybe that was bad reading on my part, but just calling it out again here lets me know these are the people that I need to connect with, and this is where I can find them. And it's with you, so I'm going to stick around.
Thank you. That's genius. That makes so much sense.
I don't want to take anything off rails, but is there a map or a high level, like being a designer, I'm like, oh, if I could just see that, like the gem map, even if it doesn't fully explain everything, but I can see there's other people to interact with, there are other things to know. I'm just curious, but I don't want to take us in a new direction either. I was just curious in general.
As far as the Journey to Purpose program, like if I have one that exists somewhere?
Yeah, like the personality, I'll just say personality types, even though that's not exactly what this is, but knowing that someone else could balance me and I might find them, I could see that like on a little map of gems, you know, like, oh, you're a yellow, and a yellow will help me balance this part of me. I need to get to know you. That sort of vibe. I was just curious.
Ooh, no, that doesn't exist, but I feel like that would be something that I'd probably create as a resource later on for the people that are within the community. And I also felt, sorry, now I see why you said that, Dan. Because I don't want, someone else that I shared this quiz with was like really excited about it because they're a relationship coach or something, or they marry people, and she wanted to share it with her clients, but then she requested me, she asked if she could know what all the types were, but I think that may actually take away from people taking the quiz, because then they may just like automatically assume, well, I know I'm going to be this anyway, so what's the point? And so I feel like it takes away from the fun of the experience, and then they may also then get in their head while they're trying to answer, trying to figure out which one they are, to kind of
skew their results,
Try to get a
So,
certain thing.
yeah. So that's why I haven't done that yet.
I think for now, sort of leaving breadcrumbs that create the journey works. That's like how I like it, because I'm also one of those people like, okay, you're hearing all about me. I don't like reading, and I also can get overwhelmed. If you give me too many things to do, especially if I'm just like finding this online and just getting introduced, maybe I'll sign up, but I totally disengage, right? Like I just signed up because it sounded good in the moment, but now you're giving me like 10 things to do, and I don't have time to do that, so I don't do any of them. Whereas this is like, I really like what you said earlier, Dan, of like, you're going to meet these people in the community later. Stick around like, I'm going to show up in your inbox with this information first, and then I'm going to tell you all about, like just sort of like giving me just like a 1-sentence sort of preview of what I'm about to enter and giving me one thing at a time. But I can totally see how creating that roadmap would make a really great resource to maybe get people that you could like sell from the community or something to get people into your membership or something like that.
Yeah, knowing what's happening next is a security blanket that I like to be given for sure.
Yeah. And then like, please let that actually happen, right? Because that's what I'm expecting. And then I really liked how you said this. In the meantime, binge on joy. And then you give me these episodes. I think it's fine that you include 5. Like I said, I'm kind of just like, I don't know which one to pick. So if you want to like pick out 1 or 2 or 3 that really resonate with each result, that could be effective. Or if you want to leave all these in there, or even if you just pick 3 or whatever, I would add, I think, a little description of what I'm about to listen to in each of these, just so I'm like, ooh, I want to know more about that. So I'm like, I have more of a reason to like, I can make a better decision on which one I want to listen to.
Ooh, or would it be better, because another thing of feedback that I've gotten, like the results people have thought are like pretty spot on, but my tagline is one feel good thing at a time. And I'm so concerned about making sure that I'm giving people value for the time that they took to take the quiz, that one of the things of feedback I got was that it was a lot. Like, the fact that you made it this far, I think some people stopped at the point where I introduced myself, because when they saw the picture, they thought that that was it. So they didn't realize that there was like more, like a podcast, and there was the Joy Quest, because I was like, would you take the Joy Quest? And they were like, where's the Joy Quest on the page? And it's like, it's all the way at the bottom. So maybe, I don't know if it's something where I should, and I've been going back and forth about this, about taking some of the stuff out and just including it in the follow-up email sequence, so that, I mean, if they came to me for strengths and, not to say strengths and weaknesses, but strengths and areas of growth, I delivered on that promise, like at the very top of the page. So anything else I think is a bonus. But I just want to make sure I'm leaving them with something that they can begin to do and like work on. So maybe the podcast is enough and they don't need to know all the other stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's why. Go ahead, Patricia.
Sorry, I was just gonna say it is overwhelming. I haven't even taken the quiz yet, and I'm overwhelmed because there's so many things coming at me that I shut down. So I'm worried that people aren't going to get here, and you're going to miss the opportunity to have people enter your community and do all the things, because it looks amazing, but I don't think that I would get here, because I'd be like, okay, there's too much.
So that's where I was talking about earlier of like what's happening next. Instead of just saying like, I'm going to send you these general tips, you could say, I'm going to send you like the best podcast episode to listen to because, or I'm going to send you a selection of podcast episodes that are going to help, you, blah. And then that helps to train them to open their emails because they're not getting everything from this page. They have to go to their inbox to go see it. And I think that you've created enough value here that would make people want to go do that, but it's something that you can test out as you launch it too. The other thing I was going to say is, so I had asked you how this is converting, like are people actually clicking on this? Because there's also people who just scroll right to the bottom of the page without reading all of the stuff above it. And so they might just see this. So if this isn't converting, like if you're not getting people to click in on this, I do think it would be okay to remove and just like be a little bit more clear on what it is that you're going to be sending them in their inbox. The other thing you could do if you want to leave this in here and kind of test out, because like if you can you sell this, right? Or this is free. This is, I would pay for this.
No,
right,
I sell it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So if I clicked on this, what was I going to say? Oh, if I'm ready to buy this right now, like I don't want you to make it harder for me to sign up, right? So if you leave this at the bottom, another thing you could do, and again, it's great that you have this on your own landing page, is have this button like throughout the page. So wherever it relates to that joy quest, be like, are you like, do you already know that you need to take this joy quest with me? Sign up here. And then it just takes them, like, they don't even have to finish the results necessarily. You're giving them opportunities throughout the page to click on that. And that would just be interesting to see if people do. But again, it would be weird if you like told me how great I was, right? And then you were like, take the joy quest with me, without giving me any context about what it is. So I maybe would like be careful as to where you're placing it so that at least I have an idea of what happens in this joy quest when I click the button. So that's something you can think about too. And then one thing I want to make sure I say is this subscribe form, I think you can take out. It confused me because I was like, what? I just gave you my email to get here, especially because you make it required. So I don't know what this links to, but I think you can get rid of it or just tell me what this does if I fill it out.
So that was there before I created the quiz. It was just a general subscriber form thing, but it wasn't converting. So I think I may actually just take it out because now everyone's initial introduction to me is going to be through the quiz and it's working. So okay. I'm just going to remove it.
Cool.
Thank you.
Could we have an apple?
So I guess maybe like one more thing on this piece, if you are going to leave this in, is maybe instead of telling me all about what happens on this quest, I'm going to click this just to see what happens next. Okay, so like here you're telling me about it. So I feel like that information on the previous page might be also here. Who should click it? Why should they click it? Like, I think something about like, even like in this title, are you like, can't wait, ready to begin your journey right now? Sign up for the Joy Quest. And I don't know, this is fine. I think this works. But maybe just something that's a little bit more like why, who is ready for this right now? Like what are sort of like characteristics about that or of those people that are like that you're working with? So that it feels easier, like, oh, that's me. I am ready for this right now. I'm going to click in and buy this kind of thing.
That makes so much sense. All of that stuff is on the page for once you click to it, but that it makes sense to put it here. That is so cool. I'm going to change that like immediately.
And then last thing, this part, I know I left you in my feedback too. I want this bigger and bolder and easier to read because it feels like it's a part of this text. And if I didn't read it, I totally missed out on this. And now I don't know what's happening next. And I think I would also, depending on what you're sending or what you decide to send in that first email, I would change this. We'll be sending more resources and tools to align your creativity with the thing that you're going to be sending me.
That makes so much sense. Oh my gosh. I wish I would have waited to do my email sequence. No! I spent like 3 days obsessing over it and now I'm like changing everything, but it's good. This is so helpful.
And baby steps, right? Like you can keep, I'm sure you can keep the email as you have it and it will be okay, right? You can make this change and then go and work on the email sequence. And just a little like food for thought or maybe like a little pro tip is look at your quiz analytics and see which result people are getting the most and rework the sequence based on that.
I don't understand.
So if are you setting a different email sequence based on the result that I get? Like I'll get a different email based on what result I got?
Yes, so each person gets a tailored email sequence based on their gem type and like the different things that were mentioned in each section.
Okay. So let's say in your quiz analytics, let's say you notice the most amount of people taking the quiz are getting this vision result, then I would update that email sequence first. And whichever one they're getting the least of, I would update that email sequence last, just for like your own work prioritization, because like making the changes to the email sequence that people are most going to receive would be most impactful because most people would get that. If you started with the one that hardly anyone might be, I mean, if it's like a split, like an even split between everyone's like 25%, 25%, 25%, right? Then it won't matter. But if like 50% of your people are getting this result, and you said that you called me a rarity, which maybe you should include that in the results too, because I was like, oh, thank you. Like I'm unique, right? So like if hardly any people land on that, then I would update that sequence last because the least amount of people are going to see it. You'll still update it, but just in terms of prioritization. Yeah.
That makes total sense. And thank you, because I've been like following it in my ConvertKit in the order that I created the sequence, not that. So that's helpful.
Cool. Yeah, but I think this is really great. Like, and this is all the reason of like, just get the quiz out there, and it's like, and exactly what Erica just said, that's a great reason of like, you don't have to have everything perfect. You don't have to have the email sequence totally fleshed out just to launch the quiz. Because look, now she has to go back and she's going to be making some changes. Whereas if you just launch the quiz without the email sequence, or maybe one email that follows up right away, or maybe you put them into your already existing newsletter that you're sending, you're going to be able to elaborate on the email sequence based on what you've learned about them from the quiz. All right. But I love this. I think this is so great. So now I just want to go back to our slides, and I'm going to give you guys a little homework for this week. And have to move your Zoom faces. All right, so next steps are going to be decide what kind of quiz you want to create, whether that's the assessment, the scored, or the personality quiz. If you're not sure, have questions, let us know in the Quiz Collective where you're at, what you're thinking, and then choose a template to work off of, even if you're going to change absolutely everything on it. Anthony, I see your hand. Go for it. You have a question?
Yeah, I know we're getting ready to wrap up, but I wonder if we could quickly run through my quiz and just get the high level overview of what the members think about my quiz.
Yeah, are you able to share it with us? Can you share your screen?
Yes, let me see. Hold on, I gotta pull it up.
While you're pulling it up, I'm just gonna give the action steps if that's okay, and then we'll end with feedback for your quiz. Is that cool?
Yes, that's fine, thank you.
Perfect. All right, so the action steps for this week are going to be to brainstorm a whole bunch of title ideas and then post them in the Quiz Collective for us to check out. So that's where I said, write down like whatever you have to start with or whatever you're thinking, just put something on the paper and totally get out of your own way. Don't edit a thing, just make that list and see what might pop out. Or we might be able to help you finesse it so that it does, or it like sounds right to you. So it doesn't have to be perfect. We just want you to brainstorm a whole bunch of titles so we can find the one that's going to work for version 1 of your quiz. And then if you choose a template to work off of, start replacing it with the title that you're choosing from this list, add in your easy wins, your resources, and a bio for yourself right on the results page. The results pages, and then this will really be the foundation for your quiz, because next week we'll go into questions and segmentation, and then week 4 is setting up the tech so that you're ready to launch and promote your quiz in week 5. So just a reminder to share your quiz titles, or if you have any questions about topics, titles, and results, you can drop that right here in topics, titles, and results channel in the Quiz Collective. And then Anthony, whenever you're ready, my last slides are just, don't forget, you can ask me anything at any time. So no matter where you're at in the quiz making process, and maybe you're a little ahead, a little behind, ask me whatever you need in the Quiz Collective, or come to office hours on Tuesdays and we can help you out.
Okay.
All right, Anthony, tell us about your business and sort of who you are attracting before we go through this quiz, if you will.
Okay, my business is a men's skincare line. Currently, I'm attracting African-American men that's roughly in the mid-income range, 35 to and older. Maybe 50-50 split between men that have beards and not, but mainly it's more of a skincare line that's focusing on the individual lifestyle and just being self-assured of who you are as a person.
Cool. And I know your quiz is live. Are you promoting it? Are you getting results from it? How's that going?
No, I have not promoted because I was trying to figure out what's the best way to promote it on Facebook and in some of the groups that I'm in, but I have not promoted it. I just put it on my website, but there's no marketing or anything behind it right now.
Okay, totally fine. Just curious. One thing I want to call out right from the get-go is I might drop this quiz link into the Quiz Collective branding and design channel for Francine, because I can read what is your swag style, okay, but this luxury men's skincare, I'm not sure if it's the yellow on the red or if it's just too small. It's hard for me to read. And so I bet you Francine would have some ideas on, because I'm assuming these are your brand colors, the red and the gold, right?
Yes.
So I bet you she would have some good ideas on how, how you could maybe like change this up so that it's easier to read. I'm even thinking like, if this red border, not border, but like background was white to match this page, and then the button was yellow with the red text or something. Like you can absolutely still use your brand colors, but just making it easier for people to read so they can get in there and take the quiz. So.
Okay.
Very cool. I think also one more thing, what is your swag style? So right now your quiz is on your website. So I already kind of know, right, that you're selling men's skincare products. I'm going to take this quiz to figure out what my swag style is. That's fun. I'm assuming you're going to recommend products to me when we get to the results page, especially when you go to promote this on Facebook. So people who haven't heard of you before, don't know what it is that you do, maybe adding more here as to like how the swag style relates to the men's skincare products that you have would be helpful. It would call in more of the right people of like, oh, I want to take this quiz because I want to know which products I need so I can have this swag.
Okay. Gotcha.
Cool. So click on take quiz for us. And if it's okay, can we just skip through the questions because we'll do that next week and then we'll just check out a results page.
Yep.
And as you're clicking through, so like as I was saying about the colors, if the red background was white to match the background, but then the white squares where you're selecting the answers were red, I feel like it would like pop out more. So I would for sure drop this into Francine because she's really good about just reorganizing or like rearranging the colors so that it's super easy to complete. Real quick before you click on see my results, this is fine, but I would maybe elaborate on the opt-in copy here, which we'll talk about in week 4 when we set this up, just so that I have more of, I feel more compelled or I have more of a reason to leave my information here, especially if you're going to ask me for my phone number. A lot of people are like, I don't want to leave my phone number. That's too much. And like, why does he need it? So telling me what you're going to do with my number would be like, oh, okay. I want those text updates or whatever you're going to be sending. And so I would leave it. Or well, let me just ask you, what are you using the phone number for? Do you have a texting community?
It's going to be for part of my texting campaign.
Okay. So I think that maybe just like you'll get, I'm just saying this, I don't know if it's true, but like maybe something like if you want all the best deals as they come out, drop your phone number in and I'll be texting you coupons, or I don't know, something like that so that I know, okay, yeah, I want that. I'm going to leave my phone number.
Okay, good.
Perfect. All right. See my results. Let's check them out.
Now, I did have a hard time trying to center this, but I'm gonna work on that.
Yeah, that's interesting because you made it within the builder. And so I wonder if there's just spacing in there, like if you entered spaces while you put it in, that made it uncentered. So if you have trouble with it, just send me like a screen record in the Quiz Collective and we'll figure it out because it shouldn't be doing that.
Okay. So then this is one of the results, and then they go here and it goes straight to my product page.
Okay, cool.
So
can you, if you hit back, what happens? I don't think we can go back because it was the, yeah. Oh, here. Okay, leave it right here. So this, I think I want more. Like before so now I know what my swag style is, right? Maybe even, again, this depends on your audience. And this is kind of what we were talking to Gabby about with like the supermodel superhero type quiz. Maybe it's like, what's your celebrity swag style or something? And then I get Idris Elba or whoever else. Like, I don't know if you have celebrities on the other pages, but it like I want to be like Idris Elba. I want to look like Idris Elba, right? So like maybe that could be the like result that I get. And then you can go on to elaborate how I have confidence and I don't have an ego and what that means and why it's so great, and sort of like maybe some like regular skincare routines I should start doing because, and that would all sort of butter me up to, oh my gosh, I need these products because I want to, but yes, this is me and I want to buy these products so that I can like boost my confidence or feel even better about this.
So you said put that on this slide? Like the
I would, because what you're doing right now is asking someone, I know it's just a click of a button, it's so easy, right? But like you're asking me to take one more step in order to get the products, and it doesn't relate that when you click on got it discount code swag and I click here, I'm going to the products, but that doesn't tell me, it doesn't relate back to my swag, I don't think. So if it does, you could automatically reroute it to that page so it doesn't show here. But I really think you need this, and you just have to create a link, a connection between my swag style and why I need these products.
Gotcha. Okay.
This definitely spoke to me because I hope that what I put out into the world is confidence with no ego, because I like taking care of myself, but I don't really talk about it, or it's not part of my outward projection. And it's so funny because I did want to hear more about how I'm like Idris. Like, I just wanted a little bit more about like what does confident with no ego mean? You're this, you're that, and you do it all in such style no one even knows, or whatever the case may be. Because this actually struck me, and I'm usually not struck by these sorts of things. So I was like, oh, I want to know more.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe, go ahead.
So if this is that, as a consumer, if the next slide, you click here, and I'm, okay, let me finish on my thought. You click here and it gives you what the elements of what people think is confidence with no ego. But then on that page, I'm asking you to click again to go to my web, to actually the product page. Will that be too many steps? Because now I'm asking you to click twice.
I almost feel like if it was all here, kind of like what Jackie was saying, and you led me to the button, with copy. So like already I'm excited because who doesn't want to be more like Idris? And then like, man, that is so me. That's so cool. And if it was like, instead of got to maintain, or in addition to got to maintain, it's, and this is how you do that. And I care so much about you maintaining that I got some stuff for you. And then I'm like led to, oh, well, now I want to know more because I hope I'm perceived that way. How do I maintain that?
Okay.
And I think too, like when we talked about, Anthony, your quick wins of like, that was earlier in the workout quiz where it was like, listen to music while you work out, drink more water. I think here in the Gotta Maintain, like every man has some sort of like morning or night ritual, right? Whether it literally is just brush my teeth and go to bed and not even look in the mirror, but they're doing something. So like if you were to, I think you could make up 3 really easy things that people could relate to. Maybe it's the same for every result. Maybe it's different based on their result that they get. But just like, I don't know, just like, I don't know, Dan, you're a guy, help me out. Like, what
yeah,
are you know what I
totally
mean?
relating to what you're saying. Yeah, because
so that you can link a product to doing that.
Right. They could serve multiple purposes. So not only are you still telling me how I'm confident with no ego, you're also saying, here's how to maintain that. And that could be done in that copy of saying, people with no ego doesn't mean they don't take care of themselves. They
Right.
do
They do
this,
something
they
like,
do that, they do
have a
this.
fresh cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice
Call the barber.
grooming of your beard and putting on quality beard oil. Because that's what I want you to buy. In this case, when you click here, you go to the beard oil page.
Yep.
And so, Anthony, you can, in the results page, so that page that we were just on, yep, right there, you can link within text. So like, just for an example, I think you should elaborate more, but you could refer, like you could recommend products throughout the page as you're sort of talking about things. So like if one of these quick wins were like, just wash your face, right? Like, let's just say it's wash your face to like feel refreshed. If you, let's just say you had a face wash, then you could link like right there, oh, I want to wash my face. And I already know that's going to be a product, right? So then it links to the product page where I actually check out. But if I'm not interested in that, or I'm like, okay, you know, that is something that I want to do, but I'm not going to buy it right now, I'm going to keep reading. You're going to give me more information about how to like be this swag, like be this guy. And you can keep referring products, because I'm sure that there are, like, I'm even sure probably that all of your products probably could be sold on all of the results pages, right? Like, just because you're confident with no ego doesn't mean you can't have a different type of oil.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
And also by doing that, and maybe on the other results pages that you created, are they celebrity like people? Images like you had on that one?
Yes, and actually that's why we're going to do another one. I'm hoping I don't get the same result. There's only 3.
Because if you did that,
yes.
Okay, cool. So if you did that, like if you had these celebrities and sort of like related me or the quiz taker to the celebrity, to the result, to the swag style, who wouldn't want to share that on Facebook or like use these links to be like, I am this dude, like I am so cool. And you could even ask them, like, do you have friends that want to find out your friend's swag style? Like, share your quiz results. And that's how you can help to organically get your quiz to go viral, because your other people are sharing it for you. You're not doing the work.
Isn't that what this does right here when you click on it?
It does, yeah. But imagine if you like implemented some of these things where you really boosted my ego, you really made me feel confident, you really gave me like all of the different products that I could be using. And then at the end, you told me to go, like, yes, it says share your results, but like, give me more of like an incentive or a reason why. Maybe you could even think about like, like, I'm just throwing this out there, but like, want to see what your friends or like, yeah, what your friend's swag style is, share your quiz here. Or maybe like share your quiz and tag me for a coupon code. So you can't get this coupon code unless you share your quiz. And who wouldn't want to do it if they're feeling really good about their result?
Okay, got it. Okay.
But this is really great. I would keep it up on the website, and I would just one by one update these results so that you add in more value on the page. And also I want to know who you are, right? Like, who are you to tell me about my morning routine and who I am and which products I should use? So just like a little bit of information on who you are and like what this business is about would be really helpful too. Because a lot of people, like with Henry's House of Coffee, it's not just about buying coffee. It's a whole story about how he's a 3rd generation coffee roaster. And I feel like his family came from Cuba, but I totally might be wrong there. But there's a whole story, a whole background, a whole like experience that I'm buying into. It's not just coffee beans. And I think you can do the same thing here. You're not just buying oil. You're not just like buying luxury skincare products. You're buying into yourself. You're making yourself more confident. There's a whole story there that you can tell that like, who wouldn't buy something to make themselves feel better? That's why we all shop, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. That's good feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, I like this a lot. I really do. And then this one,
yeah. To get ideal about the color, changing up the colors.
I think it would help because like even here, especially if you're going to be making like putting more words on this page, for me, the yellow on the red is hard to read. Or maybe it's not the yellow on the red. Maybe it's the font that you're using because like, do you see how some part, like the W gets like real thin on the edge? I can't see that. Like, yes, I know what it says. But for people who, especially if you're selling to older men, maybe they can't see as well. You know, like my dad would be like, well, I can't say this.
Right.
So you just want to make sure they can actually read it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, cool. So keep us posted as you make those changes. Erica, you as well. Everybody on the call or watching the replay, keep us posted in the Quiz Collective with the changes that you're making. If you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, what's happening, we'll help you get through it. I promise.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for sharing. I really love when people do that because it just like, even if this quiz doesn't relate to your specific business, just getting the feedback on it helps you to create like the right experience for your quiz. You can take that feedback and implement it to your business.
I will. Yep.
Totally. I got ideas from this, and bravo, Anthony. This is super cool. Like being a storyteller at heart, I love the fact that you're not trying to change me. You just want to support how cool I already am.
Yeah.
So like, I love
You know
the
what I did?
process.
Let me just show you some of the questions. I wanted the question to be fun and light because I know when I take quizzes, if I got to put a lot of thought to it, I'm not gonna do it. Like this one. Which
Yes,
personality
true.
describe you? You don't know. You got to think about it. You laid back, cocky, whatever. I'm more laid back, you know. So I want it to be kind of fun, music, you know. And even like this one that I really like. I'm just. This is some off. Like this one. Everybody know people run late, but it's typically women. But I'm asking the guy, which one are you? You know, so I want it to just be kind of light, not a lot of thought process, because
Super easy to answer.
Men are very simple. We're not going to do 30-page quiz.
I am clicking that first one hard. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
I love it.
And Anthony, one more thing I noticed as you were clicking through the questions is you call him Mr. Cognac Black, and I know that's your brand. So like maybe it's instead of what's your can you go back to the cover? What was it? What's your swag style is the title?
The first one, yes.
Yeah. So maybe it's or maybe this happens in the description. I don't know, but like if you're gonna refer to me in the quiz as Mr. Cognac Black, like I want you to tell me like I don't know, maybe it's like who, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter at all. I don't know. Do you guys, Erica, Dan, did you notice, or Allison on the, you're still here, did it like confuse you of like, wait, who's that guy? Or did you know that he was talking about you?
I felt like Cognac Black was a brand, but I didn't know, even though we were talking about skincare and whatnot, I didn't know exactly what it was yet.
So like
but a lot of brands are like that. You don't know until you drink it or taste it or buy it.
So
I thought it was a drink when you mentioned what it was, and also because of the logo. So I think when you told me that you have a skincare line, I was actually surprised. So I think that having some type of description or something would probably be really helpful.
Okay. Or maybe even in the title, like, what's your Mr. Cognac Black swag style? Maybe not. But like, yeah, I think, yeah, explaining what that is so that when they see it in the questions, it's just as easy to answer. Or maybe you take it out of the questions and talk about what that means on the results page. Like, who is Mr. Cognac Black? He is the guy that is so cool, no matter who he is or what he does. And he, you know, flashes confidence, or, you know, based on the different result they get. So just like you could explain him in the results page as opposed to just like mentioning him, but in the questions, but then never again, just so I know exactly like who we're talking about and how it relates.
Why I did that, because I wanted to, because it's men pretty much taking this. I wanted to have that air about you, about the man, about this is, he's talking to me. So when it says, now this, I mean, so cognac, when I say Cognac Black, people automatically think it's liquor, which is one of the reasons I'm having a hard time getting it ranked on Google. But I understand what you're saying. I need to change this up as to let them know it's going to be about some kind of skincare. But what I was trying to go after was make this, he's talking to me. You know, like you went to a good church and a pastor talking, and you're like, and you ask yourself, did he just talk about the problems I'm dealing with? Even though there's 1,000 people in the church, you feel like he's singling you out. That's what I wanted the quiz to be. I'm talking specifically to you. Who are you? You know, are you laid back, cocky, you know, and so maybe that's why I got to try to figure out if that message not coming across.
Pause here. So see how in the question before it was like, which style are you? Like which one most describes you? But then here it's like on an off day, what does Mr. Cognac Black listen to? And so now you're not saying me. And so I'm like, what? Who's Mr. Cognac Black? Like, well, I don't know what he listens to. I'm just saying, I don't know if
So
it's
take this out and put you.
Maybe, yeah. Or
Okay.
just tell me on the quiz cover page that that I am Mr. Cognac Black and I
Gotcha.
have my own swag style and I'm going to take the quiz to find out who I am, like which version of him I am.
Okay.
Because I like it that you're incorporating your brand into the quiz. That's awesome. Just tell me that you're making me into a Mr. Cognac Black so that I know when you ask this, you're referring to me.
Okay. That makes sense. I got it now.
Yeah.
Okay. Good, good. All right.
Perfect. And I see in the chat, Allison responded too. She also thought it was a brand. So perfect. Yeah, I think just clarifying what that is. And maybe even Francine can help you with the design of your logo, where, I don't know, just helping you update it so that it's very obvious, like that it's skincare.
Okay. Addison Fahey. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. I will ask her. But this is good.
Perfect. Yeah, this was a great session. I absolutely loved this. This was perfect. So I will, it's probably going to take a little while for Zoom to download because I think we might have hit 2 hours, which is totally awesome. So you might not get this replay until tomorrow. You all just watched it, but those watching the replay might not get this till tomorrow. And then just as I said earlier, if anyone has any questions in the meantime, or as you're making these updates, if you want feedback, like what we discussed on all these quizzes today, you can get all of that in the Quiz Collective. So just drop your quiz links in there and we will all help you out with whatever it is that you're feeling stuck on or need more support in.
I just want to say again, Jackie, bravo on this. Like, I swear you had like 20 mic drops today, and I'm not saying that to be nice. Like, you are bringing so much value. And like I said, when we very first met, I hope more and more SaaS companies build community, because this is like, it's the first time I've ever used a software and been like, I might be underpaying for this. So thank you so much.
Perfect. No, I appreciate that, Dan. Thank you. Allison, in the comments, see you again next week. I'll return with video. Perfect. And voice, love it. Is there a place I should post my link in my Interact quiz I have developed? Yeah, let me just show you all really quick the community one more time so you can see that quiz feedback channel. So 1 second, Allison, share screen. So once you're in the community, again, the link to join will be in the replay email that I send out. It's right here, quiz feedback. So if you have a quiz ready to go, you can drop it right in here. You'll see a bunch of people in here have shared their quiz. So if you're dropping a quiz, maybe if you're in there, take some other quizzes in here, again, for the quiz taking experience, but also to see like how it feels, give some support to other people out here. If you don't have a quiz yet, but you're like writing out the results pages and you want feedback on that, that's where you can drop here in topics, titles, and results. That brainstorm list of the titles that you want feedback on, drop it in here. But if you have your quiz ready to go, quiz feedback is the place to share it. And like, I can't remember if I said this earlier on this call or it was the one before, but if you don't know where to post something, just post it. I'll find it, I promise, and we can move it to the right place. Or maybe that just means we need to like reorganize some channels, which I'm totally cool with trying out. So don't let not knowing where to post it hinder you from posting. Leave it anywhere. I promise you I'll find it. All
Jackie,
right, y'all.
You are awesome. Thank you so much. Like, seriously, I was not expecting to be on this call this long. At this point, I'm like now going out to get ingredients for dinner because it's been so good. So thank you again. Like, I mimic everything that Dan said. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you all. Thank you all. You're welcome, everybody. You have a great day. Enjoy the week or the weekend. And like I said, if anything comes up, find us in the Quiz Collective. See you next Tuesday. Well, maybe I shouldn't have said that, but we have office hours. And I'll see you guys around. All right. Bye, everyone.
Take care.